Before we started with that approach, there were nearly no new leads. From time to time, a friend of a friend dropped in, but that's it. We didn't have any kind of systematic lead generation for years, despite spending money on that. It was always just hoping and not knowing. So I said, well, I volunteer as your marketing manager if you want to. In the back of my head, I already had FlashUp, which I have heard or had heard about. And I wanted to try that badly. So this was my excuse to be able to try FlashUp.
Okay.
So I started being a marketing manager for a gym, which usually isn't my trade. Well, I started at the end of April with the tests. At the end of May, we were done testing and started to really go for leads. So in the time from June until now, we have completely fixed that whole system, and we are having about 5 bookings per week, which is insane. It's really, it is a complete difference to what we had before, a complete game changer. So everything changed 180 degrees in such a small amount of time. I mean, I really have to stress that it's like 4 months of hard work on that. And it started with 1 month testing, and after that it worked and was just refined. So we had extremely fast success. I completely fell in love with that scientific approach to doing marketing. In the old days of my software agency, it was a spray and pray approach in a lot of places. And although we got it working, it was pure luck. Being able to validate the things we believe about our customers and getting a growing knowledge base of what works and what does not work in a system way, that's really great. We found out so much about the real problems of our real customers that we were able to build a real story for that niche. And none of the other gym marketing guys have done something like that. They were rather like, okay, and then you make a day of the open door and people can come in, and then you do that, and then there's an email and there's a funnel and there's a picture of a biceps, and that's it basically. So many of the things you learn on your journey through the FlashUp funnel builder are insights about your audience that shape your offer, that shape the way you want to communicate with them. Like I already said, I would have run into a completely wrong direction if I wouldn't have seen those results. The thing that is so unique to FlashUp, the systematic and scientific process on working on it, that's the difference in my opinion. The process was extremely fast compared to doing it on a blank slate, and I really enjoyed working on that.
Hi, Steffen. Good to see you. How are things going?
Hi, Manuel. Glad to see you. Thanks for the invitation.
Yeah, we had a great cooperation to build a marketing system for a business that you know. And yeah, before we dive into that, I just want to share some things that I know about you. So you have been a very successful entrepreneur, and you've created a software development agency. You sold it in an exit. Then you founded a SaaS company, and you are also a coach for other entrepreneurs. And before we go into the challenge you had with digital marketing and lead generation, just let us know something about you and what your business does and who you are.
Thank you for the kind words. Yeah, exactly. I studied computer science, and while studying that, I thought, well, you can create an agency out of that, which I did. Was a little naive to start like that, but at the end it worked out, and we grew to about 70 people when I decided that maybe I should do something else as well in my life. So I sold the company, which worked very well, and took along one of the SaaS products we tried to create, the one that worked. I mean, a lot of agencies try to create products and usually they die. Most of ours died as well, but that one I took along. Exactly. And as a side hustle, basically, I started coaching entrepreneurs for an organization that helped me very much in my times where I was hustling very hard to give something back to the community, basically. Yeah. And in my more relaxed life compared to before. I got of going to a CrossFit box in the morning and got befriended with the owner. And he told me one day that they've tried a lot to create leads and spent a lot of money with marketing agencies specialized in creating leads for gyms. And it didn't work. They didn't get any leads at all for a long time, and he didn't know how to grow his business and how to grow the number of people that go for a trial training. And I thought, well, that sounds interesting, because in my software agency, the sales cycles are long. You know, you got to talk to purchasement from the big corporates all the time, and it's taking 6 months or so until the project starts. And selling something that is so quick and immediate and bringing results to the people directly. I mean, you want to go to the gym, you look for it, you start next week. That was something that I was really interested in, trying it like that. So I said, well, I volunteer as your marketing manager if you want to, and create an online marketing strategy. In the back of my head, I already had FlashUp, which I have heard or had heard about, and I wanted to try that badly. So this was my excuse to be able to try FlashUp.
Okay.
So I started being a marketing manager for a gym, which usually isn't my trade.
Okay, awesome. And the challenge was that you now had to find out how to systemize marketing and generate leads profitably instead of wasting the money again for this gym.
Exactly. There had been people that built up funnels, and the craftsmanship was okay, you know, landing pages and email funnels. After that, everything was set up. It simply didn't stick, and people didn't want to buy. So the challenge really was making it work this time.
Yeah. Do you have an idea now, after you had the experience, how it can work successfully? Do you have an idea why it didn't work? What was the missing piece?
Yeah, definitely. I think the thing that is so unique to FlashUp, the systematic and scientific process on working on it, that's the difference, in my opinion. Because in the usual way, also when I was doing marketing for my software agency, we tried something. We didn't know if it would work. We had some hypotheses based on our personas, the usual stuff. And we thought, well, maybe they want to read that white paper. So we created a white paper and we waited, and sometimes nothing happened. Sometimes people called, sometimes nothing happened. And after 6 months, people called, who knows? It was always just hoping and not knowing. And here, for the first time, we got into immediate knowledge, which kept us from going down the wrong tracks a lot. For example, I expected that longevity would be something that pulls people, because it's a big trend in the States at the moment, and I expected it to swap over to Germany. And if I would have done it just on my gut feeling, I would have positioned the gym as some kind of longevity center or something. With FlashUp and the scientific start with the problem statements, we quickly found out that people don't really care about longevity at the moment. They care about other things, like integrating sports into their everyday life, especially when they have a job and children and stuff. And so we found out so much about the real problems of our real customers that we were able to build a real story for that niche. And none of the other gym marketing guys have done something like that. They were rather like, okay, and then you make a day of the open door and people can come in, and then you do that, and then there's an email, and there's a funnel, and there's a picture of a biceps, and that's it basically. And for example, we found out that pictures of biceps don't work at all. The people want to see groups and happy people that look normal, like normal people, and not like a gym monster, which was interesting as well.
Yeah,
I would have picked the wrong image world.
Yeah, so you got a much better understanding of the desires, the problems of your target audience, and then based on that, you can position the gym properly and build the marketing, aligned with your findings. Cool. Before we go into the details on how the process worked for you, can we make a jump in time, and you can share how the gym gets leads today, how many leads, and what's the difference compared to before you used the progressive funnel and micro-testing approach?
Yeah, definitely. So before we started with that approach, there were nearly no new leads. From time to time, a friend of a friend dropped in, but that's it. We didn't have any kind of systematic lead generation for years, despite spending money on that. And with that Flash Hub system, I started at the end of April with the tests. At the end of May, we were done testing and started to really go for leads. So in the time from June until now, we have completely fixed that whole system, and we are having about 5 trial training bookings per week, which is insane. It's really, it is a complete difference to what we had before. And it's a really sustainable path to grow for that gym into an area where it really makes fun, which is a complete game changer. So everything changed 180 degrees in such a small amount of time. I mean, I really have to stress that it's like 4 months of hard work on that. And it started with 1 month testing, and after that it worked and was just refined. So we had extremely fast success.
Okay. And on that path, I mean, you got the success for the gym, it got turned around. Now you have five calls or 5 leads booked for a test training every week. What did you learn about marketing?
I completely fell in love with that scientific approach to doing marketing, because I already said, in the old days of my software agency, it was a spray and pray approach in a lot of places. And although we got it working, it was pure luck in most cases. And I don't like just being lucky. So being able to validate the things we believe about our customers and getting a growing knowledge base of what works and what does not work in a system way, that's really great. And so I learned really a lot about how to do this process in a repeatable manner to reach results in a reproducible way, which is amazing, complete game changer.
Cool. Awesome. So now you are not just a successful software entrepreneur, but also a successful marketing consultant.
Exactly. Call me, people, call me. No, don't do that.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. So the process was that you first started like using the AI to generate the value proposition, the problem statements for your audience, then micro-test it and validate and see what really works and what doesn't. How did you like that, and what was unique? What do you think about that process?
I really like the process, and that you are guided by the system on what to do next and how to do it. And also the AI creates very good examples of what to do. It's not like you can simply click OK and it's done. But I found the process to be far easier than starting with a blank slate and having to create everything by my own. You get suggestions for a lot of the problem statements, and with 50% of them you think, no AI, you can't do that. But still, it gets you thinking about what is the right way. So the process was extremely fast compared to doing it on a blank slate, and I really enjoyed working on that.
Cool. So the AI saves basically time, and the micro-test save the money to just spend your money on what really works, right?
Exactly. Yeah. It's not like the AI replaces you. That's not the case at the moment, but it gets you up and running really fast.
Yeah, it helps with inspiration, right? And then you refine it manually. Yeah,
exactly. That seems to be the state of AI at the moment. I see it in the SaaS business as well. Coding is so much faster using AI assistants, but it's still not a replacement for real coders.
Yeah.
At least for marketing, it looks the same, at least for now.
Yeah, it's an assistant, right? It's not a system that replaces everything, but who knows what happens in the future. Yeah, perfect. Cool. And then we've built the landing page. Is there something that you you saw for the first time that was helpful for landing page optimization?
Small expert tricks like splitting up the landing page in 2 pages so you can track who really is the audience, stuff like that. That was very interesting to learn. Other than that, I have to say that the landing pages really fell out of the process basically as a byproduct, because we already knew so much about our audience, our customers, that I already knew exactly what to argue on the landing page and what to say where. That was a really interesting process, because usually, or in the old days, with content creation or copywriting, you always had to think about, well, what else might be interesting for them? And now I already knew what was interesting for them. So basically it was putting already validated puzzle pieces together. And that was a really fast and painless process.
Cool.
Because
And you get
the only pains came out of other parts of the system, like integrating the gym ERP to really track when a booking is done and stuff like that. Nothing about the marketing itself. And as we had that fixed out, we had basically a very nice pipeline where people for trial bookings drop in directly into the schedule without any hassle. It was really cool.
And then the owner can just lean back and watch new trial trainings flow in.
Exactly, which is an important point, because there wasn't a place in their working environment where they have to sit at a desk and call people, something like that. So it was very important to get that marketing pipelining into what their everyday life is, basically. So we had a time where we used instant forms, but we tried to get through that as fast as possible. Still very valuable, because you get the first feedback really fast.
Yeah, get the first leads, and then you can improve that with your landing page and the integration.
Exactly.
Cool. If you look at other businesses, for example, let's say other agencies, marketing agencies, service providers, for which type of business with which challenges do you think these microtests and the progressive funnels could be helpful and solve a problem?
Yeah. So even for my old business, the software agency, I think it is a very feasible thing to do. And basically, I'd recommend it for any business that wants to create leads in a systematic way online, with some gotchas around, like the boss has to spend time on that. Don't underestimate that, because so many of the things you learn on your journey through the Flash Up Funnel Builder are insights about your audience that shape your offer, that shape the way you want to communicate with them. Like I already said, I would have run into a completely wrong direction if I wouldn't have seen those results. And that's not something you can delegate to your marketing team, because they aren't allowed to change the offer or to change the whole communication of the company. That's something the boss has to do himself.
Yeah.
So set aside some time and really work on that yourself. And then when the basics are set out, it's easy to delegate again. But I think that's really important. And by the way, hiring an external agency, costs time as well. Usually you just let them run, you don't see results, you have to fire them again, you have to talk to them again. So it's not like you can skip out of marketing completely as a boss. I think it's always an affair that has to be done by the boss himself, at least on a meta level.
Yeah, the execution can be delegated properly, and then you need to get reports. But based on the reports and the results, you need to make the strategic decision on how to realign your business and position it right. Yeah,
exactly.
How much time did you spend per week on building the funnel, the campaign, landing page, and the whole system?
Yeah, about I tried to track it. It was like a day in a week.
A day per week
that I spent on it. But it's a little fuzzy, because we completely relaunched the website because we saw that it doesn't fit our audience and stuff like that. That bleeds into this time frame. So My gut feeling would be that if you have 4 hours per week, you should be good to go on that place. And there are waiting times anyway. You start a test, you have to wait 1 or 2 days until the test results roll back in, and then you have to look at them. So rather having multiple work times per week on that system is a good way to go.
Awesome. Excellent. Cool. Yeah, then let us know where other people can find you in case they are interested about you and your business.
Yeah. So if you're looking for me, look on LinkedIn for Steffen Müller Darmstadt. I should be findable there.
Awesome. Excellent. Perfect. Yeah, then I'm looking forward to seeing more growth and more marketing experience in our cooperation. And yeah, thank you very much for taking your time for the interview.
Yeah, and thank you for the invitation and for the Flash Up system. I gotta say, it's without it, I don't think that this would have worked out that way that fast. It's really a complete game changer. So thank you for that, for all the people that lift weights now in Darmstadt in the mornings.
So in Darmstadt, you just see the big guys.
yeah, exactly. They're all like that.
All right. Cool. Excellent. Thank you very much. And yeah, see you soon.
See you soon. Bye-bye.